Bristol, the largest city in southwest England and once the richest city in the world, has been the subject of an extensive media blackout since 2005. Few people have been allowed in or out since news broke of an alarming nature. Uneasily coexisting with the general population, a branch of society has been found that can only be described as the unliving, undead, or zombies.
After about a year of studying, we realised that they truly were dead. Clinically dead.
It was in November 2004 when the first reports and sightings of the undead emerged. Local media became saturated with stories of the recently deceased returning to walk the streets. For a time there was mass hysteria. Fear and panic gripped the city. The military were called in to perform a massive security operation. Bristol went into lockdown. Time passed, the dust settled, the situation was declared safe, and last year the media were allowed to return. Our film crew were given access to the city for a short time to discover whether the undead of Bristol were or weren't the brain-devouring monsters of Hollywood folklore.
It's not a zombie holocaust, as they I think the film was called, I'm not sure.
For an introduction to the origins of the undead phenomenon, we went to the University of Bristol to speak to the leading authority on the subject, Professor Douglas Morecambe.
My name's Doug Morecambe, and I'm the head of zombie studies here at Bristol University. And I've been studying the zombies since they arrived about 5 years ago.
Professor Morecambe's first encounter with the undead remains something of a mystery due to his reluctance to talk to us about the episode.
I thought this was a criminal act. I phoned the police. The man had gone, left no fingerprints. But it did leave a very strange smell of decay and death. Which I thought was weird, and as a medical clinician myself, I have a degree in biology also, I found this quite interesting, so I thought I'd follow it up. And I did, obviously.
As reports of the undead came flooding in, Professor Morecambe established a centre for the study and research of the phenomenon and its origins. We asked him whether, after almost 5 years of study, his team had discovered the cause of the dead returning to life.
You say you've been studying them for 5 years. In your time of studying, obviously we've not heard anything in the news about any kind of breakthrough, but have you come to some kind of understanding about what's causing this?
Well, no. We're still very, very in the early stages of our research. 5 years, I mean, it took us a year before we could get any funding.
We asked the professor about the validity of the comparisons between the Bristol undead and those portrayed in Hollywood movies.
There is a definite stigma here, and there is a problem with this. Obviously, you have the likes of the well-renowned George Romero films, famously Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and so on. And these paint zombies in a very bad light. And it's become very clear that here in Bristol, this is not the case. They're not mad, flesh-eating creatures at all. They are simply humans who are beyond the point of death, and yet really haven't lost much of their humanity. As they decay more and become more fetid, yes, there is a certain amount of of resemblance, but certainly not the same, and certainly not on the same scale. We have noticed deterioration from initial zombie state to a more decayed and fetid state that they obviously become, and this can last, as we've seen, from anything from 6 months to 18 months. So there's no hard and fast rule, and there doesn't seem to be any correlation to the age of the initial death of the person who becomes the zombie, or their standard of fitness or health.
Interested in finding out more about the public perception of the undead, we took to the streets.
I don't really mind them.
They're annoying, but they make me laugh, so it's good.
I just like feel very badly. Is it need the home?
Yeah.
So if any people, you can do something. Everyone, you can do it something for the people.
How do you feel about some reports of the zombies handling their situation on a psychological sense? We've heard stories of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, who have now begun to include zombies in their work, seeing as now, once these people have found out that they are now the undead, they've got a limited time to live.
Well, I think this is a good step, and I think perhaps we do need to look at more psychological cures or solutions to this problem, rather than medical or indeed, as some people have suggested, military, which I think is probably a step too far. We have counselling, which we have here at the university, and it's been going very well. I've had some very interesting sessions with some of the zombies at various stages of their decay, and it's very interesting noting how differently psychologically they respond to music, animals, different smells, food especially, and this is obviously a slightly grey area, the food that they choose to eat, but we can go into that in more detail. We do have some subjects here which we have to keep confined, some for their own safety and some obviously for ours, which obviously you will be interested to meet and to actually talk to at some point.
Auntie, I'm cool, you know? Yeah? Yeah, man.
Do I need to really say anything? Stay here, fuck away from me.
I think we just have to accept it. If we are to let the zombie population assimilate into our own, then we have to provide for them, food-wise, accommodation-wise, medically, entertainment. I'm not sure what kind of entertainment they particularly enjoy, but
Dubstep, apparently.
Dubstep, really?
Right. Yes.
I've never heard of this.
Right.
Is that music?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Drum beats.
Right. Drum beats.
Yes, slow.
Right. Well, that might be. It'd be interesting to actually look at some of our case studies and play them some dubstep, see how they respond.
Based on a tip-off from local students, we discovered that there are undead students studying at the local university. Intrigued by the news of the undead studying at the City of Bristol College, we attempted to speak with those involved. First, we spoke to the head of the music department, Pat Hambrilman.
My name is Pat Hambrilman, and I'm a music lecturer at City College here. We have a few undead students. In the main, very few difficulties. Sometimes difficulties telling which ones are undead and which ones aren't. The same sort of safety issues apply. So, no eating, no mobile phones around the equipment. Safety for them and the equipment. The cleaning bill's slightly different. Sort of remnants and decay over the keyboards. Yeah, kind of flakes here and there. But we ask them to tidy up after themselves. Most of them